Well, fans, he's back. Big Easy's in studio. He is getting drunk?
I don't want to put it in those terms.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaimed the greatest radio show.
Well, fans, it's week 16. I'm Jim Sella. You're still listening to The Spread, hopefully. In studio with J Dash, best producer ever, and Big Easy, finally back in studio for the Steelers preview. Easy, fans been missing you, man.
I had chestnuts roasting on that fire.
You got to do that sometimes, I guess.
You always give me credit for being a producer, but you never say anything about me being right beside you on every episode.
Well, you're not in every episode.
So you're saying all besides like 4 of the 97 we made.
Well, I'm in all 97.
You're Baba Booey. We just come to you to humiliate you, and while you sit there and do your job anyway.
Please believe.
Well, you are the producer, right?
I'm everything around here.
See? Jack of all trades, master of nothing. Well, Pittsburgh, 9-5. They still got a chance to go 11-5 and make it sound like I know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I heard earlier in the week that if San Diego loses and Buffalo loses and Pittsburgh wins, they clinch a spot in the playoffs. But then I heard today that if Pittsburgh wins, they clinch.
What, did you listen to 2 different channels?
Well, yeah, it was 2 totally different times of the week.
Okay, well, then it could have still been the same channel at a different time of the week. My point is, ESPN just likes to report anything, so sometimes you hear something on there, you got to be wary of whether you're going to believe it or not. You want some good info, you got to follow us on Twitter at bet_thespread and like us on Facebook, because that's where all the breaking news is.
No, all they have to do is win and they're in. It don't matter what anyone else does.
Exactly. That's what I heard today.
They win Sunday, a playoff spot is theirs, which was huge after not making it for the last 2 years. So I'm not even worrying about Cincinnati in the division. Just win this game. Win this game Sunday.
This is going to be a harder game than a lot of people think. Kansas City is a good team. They're not a great team. Pittsburgh's a good team and not a great team. But the Steelers have a great offense this year, number 1 in the league in total offense. I don't think I would have ever seen that in my wildest dreams. A Steelers offense, number 1 overall.
In yardage, right?
Yeah.
It goes to show that stats are garbage because I watch that team every week and I don't see it.
I feel the same as you, man.
It's brutal.
I don't see it either. Yeah, the yardage is there, and it was there early in the season too when we were 3-3 and we were complaining about the offense. Now they've picked it up a lot recently. But one thing that makes me mad about ESPN and NFL.com and all these sites is, if you go look at the standings, it shows their total points. We have 389 total points. Then if you go click on offense and look at all the offensive stats, it says the offense has 389 points. Well, it's obviously a lie. They give all defensive points to offense. That's how offensive driven the NFL is.
They want teams to have better offensive stats because it sells more money in fantasy football leagues. More advertising. They love it.
It's just ridiculous to me.
It is ridiculous. Stats are very, very misleading. You got to take a look at the right ones. They are second in passing. They're 10th in rushing. We're going to call them a good offense. That's what we're going to call them. Doesn't matter if you're ranked number 1. That doesn't make you great or anything. It just means you got more yards than the other guys. That's seriously all it means. What if you were in 5 or 6 shootouts, but then another team it wins by defense? So they're obviously not going to have as many yards as you. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make you a great team just because you have a number 1 offense.
Really, the 3 games I look at, how I want this offense to look, and I'm sure both of you agree, is Indianapolis, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. All 3 of those games, they came out and looked great, and that's what I want to see moving forward, but it's been few and far between besides those games.
One thing that I can say has been really good and pretty consistent for most of the year is our offensive line.
Yeah, they've looked good.
Munchak's got that group playing a lot better. Ben's only been sacked 32 times. He's on pace for the fewest sacks of his career in any year in which he started at least 14 games. That was last year, and he was sacked 42 times. Gilbert's done better. He's missed last 3 games, or part of the last 3. I think all of the last 3 games. Tomlin said Gilbert might be able to play this week. If not, Mike Adams will make his 4th consecutive start at right tackle. It's going to be tough against that Kansas City defense. They're tied for 6th in the league in sacks. They have 38. Justin Houston has 17 of those himself, and Tamba Ali has 6. So between Houston and Ali, they got, or Holly, am I saying that right?
Tamba Ali.
Tamba Holly. They got 23 sacks. You know how many the Steelers have as a team?
23.
24. So 2 of their players only have 1 less sack than the entire Steeler defense.
One thing different about this Kansas City defense is they rank 2nd against the pass and 28th against the rush. Whereas for the Steelers, they rank 25th against the pass and 11th against the rush. So it's 2 totally different types of defenses. But one thing both of these defenses don't do is force a lot of turnovers. Kansas City is actually last in forced turnovers.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's probably not too far behind.
Yeah, I think they're something around 20th or something. They're not doing that great. But one thing I did find out this week was, although the Steelers' defense doesn't force a lot of turnovers, the turnovers they forced have come at the right times. On top of them scoring 37 points off of turnovers and plus a safety there, they also set the offense up in their own zone for another 41 points, while our offense has only put the defense in a bad position a couple times this year, which equaled out to 31 points. So they are actually plus 47 in points per game in key turnovers, whereas they're only -1 in turnover differential.
I think Big Easy's head's about to explode. With
Did you
all those
understand
stats.
that?
Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, I got it. I got it all.
All I'm saying is that although the Steelers are -1 in turnover differential, the turnovers that they are making are coming at opportune times, and the Steelers' offense isn't turning the ball over in bad positions most of the time.
That's exactly what happens. And because, the first time ever you have a Steeler return 3 interceptions in a season?
Plus,
Yeah.
Bryce McCain had one too.
So that's 4 as a team, 3 by 1.
I think we have 5 defensive
That's the
touchdowns.
definition of at key
Okay,
times.
here's another thing. I hate you, ESPN. I go look at defensive touchdowns. The Steelers are tied for first, according to them, with 5. Them and Houston each have 5. And then I think
A
back.
few teams have 6.
What's that?
A few teams have 6.
Oh, I didn't see that. The thing I had a problem with was one of those turnovers the Steelers made was in the Carolina game, and it was on a punt. We recovered a fumble on a punt and scored. How does that go to the defense? Isn't that on the special teams?
I don't think special teams gets their own stats.
But you don't just give them to someone else.
Well, they just give them. Well, probably because most special teamers are defensive players, so it's easy to just give it to them as a defensive stat.
Well, that's talk for our NFL rules and regulations
Yeah.
segment, though, ain't it?
I'm just sick of ESPN.
Let me bounce
screwing
this
it.
off you real quick.
All right.
Todd Haley had Jamal Charles as a running back for a couple years in Kansas City, 2-3 years, whatever it was. Do you think Jamal Charles' inability to stay healthy at this point in his career is because Haley ran him into the ground, similar to the way that they're going to run Le'Veon Bell into the ground if we don't get somebody in here to help him out?
Well, you're right about the Le'Veon Bell part, at least. But Jamal Charles, he seems like someone that's been injured throughout his entire career to me.
He gets banged up, but how many games has he missed this year?
Well, this year, I think
1,
he's only
2?
missed 2 or 3, yeah.
That's
early in
nothing.
the
he's just
season.
That's nothing.
He's just not playing at the level he could have, that's all. Just
He's
a
still
question.
a beast. And if KC's going to beat Pittsburgh this week, even though we get torched against the pass, it's going to have to be with Jamal Charles.
Well, me and him were talking about the last time we played Kansas City at home. Do you remember that? I think the last time we played Kansas City was a home game. It was only a couple years ago.
11-12-12, Kansas City at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The Steelers won 16-13.
2 years ago, I was at that. It may be a dream, but I could have. I swear, I could have swore I was at that game. Neither one of you were there. Someone else had to go with me.
I've never been
Maybe
to
it
a
was
KC
Jeff
one.
Keel.
Jeff might have been at that game with me, but I remember. I think in that game, Roethlisberger got hurt. He either got hurt or he already was hurt, and we either went in with a backup quarterback or he got hurt in the game. But I remember that being a debacle.
The
Well, we
Kansas
won,
City
so it
Pittsburgh
wasn't too
memory
bad.
I have
That might have been a Monday night game too.
is first round playoffs. This is back in the early 90s. Or when Joe Montana played for KC. We were playing them
Joe
in the
Montana?
playoffs. And we had a school skating night or whatever they call them. And we were at the North skating rink.
I went to Norwin Skateland.
Good stuff. Skating's
Well, what were
pretty
you
terrible.
Well, what were you gonna say
Well, I was just saying
What?
that was my KC Pittsburgh memories when I was at that.
at the skate rink?
Yeah, watching Joe Montana torch the Steelers.
Brutal.
By the way, my dad went to school with Joe Montana.
So did my old boss.
Very nice. I bet you my dad went to school with your old boss.
Probably. Who shall remain nameless.
me and Le'Veon have the same weed dealer.
Hey,
nice.
he's got to get it from somebody.
That trumps you.
How many-
one ups? That's one up. That one ups you.
You got to start smoking with him before game time, before he gets on his
Yeah,
flights.
he lost his buddy at LeGarrette Blunt.
When LeGarrette left, we all quit.
So if the Steelers do make the playoffs, 35 of the 53 players on their roster have never even been to a playoff game.
Doesn't surprise me.
66% of their roster. That's crazy.
What? It's only been 3 years, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
A lot of turnover on that team right there.
Believe it.
I know. And what's funny is the last time they came here and played, it was tough, and it's gonna be tough again. They're due to throw a pass to the wide receiver. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, they still haven't. I looked it up. They still have
They
no
stopped
touchdown
one-
passes to a wide receiver on their team.
They're gonna have to
so
get.
bad.
I didn't think they did either, but then I go and look, and Alex Smith has 18 touchdowns. That's not a huge number, but I mean,
Tight
you
ends
throw
and running
18.
backs, man.
I don't understand.
Well-
There's Jamal Charles had to score a couple. Anthony Vasano's out there, I guess.
It's the shadows of Doxter.
He probably throws them up in the air and
Dexter
catches them
McCluster
himself.
plays for
Yeah.
someone else now, man.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, their uniforms look good. I like Kansas City's uniforms. They always look
Yeah.
good. Especially when they were at home a couple weeks back and they had that all red.
Yeah,
those
looks
all
good.
red. Those all red ones were nice. But it's a fun matchup. You know, I don't want to be playing as nice it would be to get into the playoffs. I don't want to be playing Jacksonville this week anyway. I'd rather have a solid opponent come in and then we'll see what we're made of.
This is a
If we
playoffs
don't-
already for us.
Yeah, if we don't.
This is the
if we don't
playoffs
beat
for Kansas City, too.
Yep.
Yep.
If we don't win this game at home, we don't even deserve to make the playoffs because the playoff game is going to be harder than this game Sunday. So if we can't win this Sunday, then forget the playoffs anyway.
As long as Pittsburgh doesn't lose and Cincinnati doesn't win, next week's game's going to be huge.
I can't wait.
But we can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to go out and win this game. This is a very big game.
If you got tickets and you're looking to get rid of them for any game this Sunday or the Bengal game, hit us up at bet_the_spread. Anything, Facebook. You want those tickets? We'll get it. We'll get them for you. I'll go to either one of those games.
I'll have to
Seriously.
call off work.
For those of you not listening
Don't
on
even- just No
YouTube,
call, no show.
you can get to our YouTube channel by typing in youtube.com/betthespread.
And bet that spread while you're at it. Well, the last two games, we already mentioned the last one. The last two games between Kansas City and Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. The last one was 11-12-12. Pittsburgh won 16-13. The one before that was way back in 06. And the Steelers won 45-7. So they don't play at Heinz Field very often. Usually those Monday night games are at Kansas City. They save those for Arrowhead. Big, nice stadium over there.
Oh, you know what else I heard? There is a possibility
Crosby has the mumps.
that next week's game is going to be moved into prime time.
Oh, come on. You mean this game?
No, next week's game.
Oh, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh, word to that, because I work till 2 o'clock, and that means I'll get to see the whole thing.
Very
Flex that all the way, Roger Goodell. If you don't, you're going to have more Ray Rice situations on your hand. Well, Dash, we've been arguing about the offense and the defense for the last couple weeks now, and, like you said, they're coming up with the turnovers at the right time. Maybe not a flurry of turnovers, but they're getting them at crunch time when it means something. I'm not ready to call the defense good.
No, me either.
But you know what I'm going to call them? Resourceful. They're definitely very resourceful. When
And let's not
when
forget
they need a
that
play, they
they've had a lot of
usually have been
injuries
able to
this
make it.
season,
Oh,
too.
they've been decimated by injury. The one thing that they do consistently, though, is give up the big play, which in the playoffs is going to come back to haunt us. We need to at least shore up that part. Just you can't give up 2 big, long passes in the playoffs to a team like Denver or New England.
The one
'Cause
positive
if you spot
is-
them 14 points, it's going to be hard to come back even with the number 1 offense.
The one positive is Eli Manning's a choke job in the playoffs, so maybe he won't come up with that big play.
You mean Peyton Manning?
What'd I say, Eli?
Yeah.
Yes, Peyton Manning.
Eli's been such a choke artist all year, it's just burned into your brain from
Yeah.
those fantasy segments.
Please believe.
Tier 18, Eli.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's a choke job in the playoffs, though. And Tom Brady and Bill Belichick probably don't have our plays on video this year either.
Did you see that Matthew Berry released Jay Cutler from his fantasy team and signed Tim Tebow? It was a big thing all over Twitter. People think he has some inside info that Tebow is going to sign with the Bears.
That's complete nonsense, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know where
I'm
you
just
heard
telling
Who
it.
is
you.
it?
I heard it on Twitter. I just
who's
said
the,
that.
I wouldn't even have said that.
Who's supposed to start for Chicago?
Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen. I'd rather start him over Tim Tebow.
I'd never start Tim Tebow anywhere.
Tim Tebow has a great wardrobe. His hair always looks good, and he's on television. So.
He's the last quarterback to beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's brutal. I don't like to remember that game very often.
It was a great pass.
Well, Dash, what's your key to victory this week for the Steelers over Kansas City?
Well, I guess for offensively, I would say just don't turn the ball over. The Chiefs aren't good at forcing turnovers. Let's not make that mistake. But really, the key to me is just stop Jamal Charles defensively, and that's pretty much all they have.
Easy?
Key to victory:
Key to victory.
a punt return or a kickoff return touchdown.
Yeah, I've been looking for one of those all year, man.
That's
We
Sunday's
need
key
a
to victory.
special teams play to
We,
win us a game.
Oh yeah, or a long return to set us up in with field to change field position.
Pop quiz, hot shot. Who was the only player to have a kick return for a touchdown against the Steelers this season?
Johnny Utah?
Against the Steelers this season.
Yep, 108 yards.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I could see it in my head. It was Baltimore again, wasn't it?
Yep, Baltimore, you got that.
Jacoby Jones, or what's his name?
Yep, you're right on, man.
Yeah.
Jacoby.
Yeah, that was the Steelers' best game this season, though. That was when the offense was driving the ball straight down the field, especially in the second half, and the defense looked very good in that game, too.
Well, I think my key to victory is Big Ben to have another big game. I want to see him go out, throw for big yards. We're at home. There's no way Alex Smith is going to match Ben touchdown for touchdown. He can't even get a touchdown to his wide receivers. He's such garbage. The only thing that worries me is sometimes the Steelers defense can turn the worst quarterback into Joe Montana.
Yeah,
So
I've seen it.
I'm deathly afraid to see Alex Smith come in here, throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns.
It made
Well,
Mike Vick look like Warren Moon.
Smith is actually coming off his 2 best games of the season statistically. However, over the past 4 games, the Chiefs are only 1-4, and besides the 31 points they put up versus Oakland last week, they haven't scored more than 20 points in the previous 3 games. So our defense needs to shut this offense down.
If they don't give up any big plays, I think it's going to be hard for Kansas City to beat us at home because our offense is really good.
But the thing is, Kansas City don't make big plays, but they still.
Jamal Charles can break a big play.
So when you say don't give big plays, you're also talking about don't give up a 80-yard touchdown run.
That's a big play.
When you say don't give up big plays, I'm thinking of.
You're thinking Dwayne Bowe down the sideline.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking Willie Gay with his. All I see is the back of his jersey.
Well, that could possibly happen.
Grasping at air and people running right past him.
No, well, but what's more likely to happen? A deep, long pass touchdown or a 80-yard touchdown run?
If you're the Patriots, an 80-yard pass. If you're the Chiefs,
No, I mean-
an 80-yard run.
No, this Sunday, what are the Chiefs more likely to do? Throw an 80-yard touchdown or have an 80-yard run?
Have an 80-yard run.
It'll
Jamal
probably be
Charles
a
is the
So
type of
you're
back
gonna
that
what?
hurts the Steelers. He's a cutback runner, and we flow to the lane too quickly sometimes, and he's able to cut it back up inside of the other hole, and then he has wide open daylight against the likes of one-armed shoeless Ike Taylor.
I guarantee you they will throw an 80-yard touchdown pass.
Terrence West had 100 yards against us in
To a
week
tight
1.
end?
Terrence
To anybody. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Terrence West had 100 yards against us in week 1, and the only other 2 running backs to have 100 yards against the Steelers were Arian Foster and Mark Ingram. So they've been doing their job against the run most of the season.
Only, 300-yard rushers?
Yeah, 3 100-yard rushers.
Not bad. That goes overlooked.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, because
It's not
they
what we're
always
used
used
to
blow
in
those.
Pittsburgh because
Yeah.
we're used to 2.5 seasons of not a 100-yard rusher, but
That's because they keep
for just
feeding you
3
those stats.
in this season where you we came into the season knowing his defense wasn't going to be unstoppable. I think 3 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, me too.
You know, all it would take is a little bit of an improved pass rush for everybody's opinion of the defense to change.
I believe
Because
so,
if they
too.
can put a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, it instantly makes the D-backs a little better. It instantly gives Troy that extra half second to break on a ball. Or Willie Gay, as much as he gets beat deep, he does have good ball hawking skills. So he'll get you one. He's just going to give up 1 or 2, you know, in the next game or even maybe that same game.
Yeah.
But yeah, put some consistent pressure on the quarterback. That'll change a lot.
Speaking of what our defense needs to do to get better, one of our favorite fans,
Not
Edward,
get the mumps.
wants to know about the Steelers' future, and you said you had something for that?
I have an entire segment for that. I don't think we have time for that tonight.
All right, well, you heard it here, Edward. We're going to
Eddie.
have an entire segment for you for that.
I got it all set up, buddy. As soon as I can kick this cold and get a little more energy, we'll get it done. All right, so what's our predictions for the game? Easy, we're going to start with you. What do you think's going to happen on Sunday?
I think it's going to be a struggle down to the last second, and we're going to win miraculously 21-20.
21-20. That's a nail biter. I don't know if I can handle that. That's a lot of stress.
That doesn't cover the spread, but it covers making us into the playoffs, so I'm down with it.
I think it's going to be a close game, too. I think the defense is going to play pretty much how they played the past 2 games. Nothing very special, but they're going to handle their own, and I think the offense is going to do just enough to get it done 24-21.
You know, I really think this team wants this game. They want this victory.
KC wants
they
this
want they want to be back in the playoffs. It is not like a Steelers team that missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. I think both sides of the ball come out and have a huge game. I think the defense has a game with the likes of the second Baltimore game, and the offense is just going to keep ticking the way it has been. I see Pittsburgh winning this game pretty big, 35-14.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we're all going to be pretty hungover for this week's Steeler game. Our boy Johnny Parlay's having the annual spread Christmas party at his house. You guys ready for that?
Can't
Be
wait.
good times.
Good times. And also
Beer cheese and beer pong at the same party.
Also, spread will be live at the Rivers New Year's Eve.
Live at the Rivers, that's right. You want to come meet the personalities here at the spread? You come down to the Rivers Casino. We're going to be out and about, maybe hitting up Blush Gentlemen's Club. We don't know how crazy it's going to get that night.
It definitely starts with the buffet at the Rivers Casino.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see me with a bib and a crab on it that says, I'm stuffed.
That's it.
Well, fans, I want to thank you for listening. Terrell Latson, I hope you're happy. Big Easy, I finally drug him back up here into the studio.
Tired of it.
Eddie, better get on making some more of them cookies. Send them our way here at Spread Studios. We'll take some of them cookies. Follow us on Twitter, bet_the_spread. Like us on Facebook. Live us on YouTube.
Go Steelers.
One time.
Here we go.